Ladies and gentlemen, our main event of the evening features a formidable challenger taking on the number 19 ranked heavyweight professional boxer in the United States of America, Adam All-America Stewart!
Boxing is in golf, boxing is in tennis, boxing is in baseball. It's a very violent sport.
Shit. Scared nobody? Save that for tomorrow, guys. Save it for tomorrow, folks.
Attracts people who come from violent circumstances.
Ah! We did it, baby! We did it!
The question is, can you use a violent sport to extricate yourself from a violent past? If you look at Adam's history, it's kind of strange. Jail didn't rehabilitate him. Football didn't rehabilitate him. You know, all the social workers and cops, I'm sure that he saw all that time before he hit the boxing gym didn't rehabilitate him. But somehow, some way, boxing allowed him to live a better life. And that's what's beautiful about the sport. Famous New York columnist coined it the red light district of sports, but it has this odd capacity to rehabilitate certain.
Hi, I'm Adam Stewart, professional heavyweight boxer. 12-1, baby. Uncle Vinny had a karate studio, and at the end of practice, I remember Chuck Norris would walk in, and Uncle Vinny was holding the board, and he kicked the board in half. So I was like, man, this is freaking awesome. And I guess that's probably how it started.
Adam was a super large baby. He was 10 pounds, 9 ounces. Yeah, he was my challenge. With 5 kids, you know, they were always playing around and getting into mischief and throwing things at each other, breaking walls. He put an orange through the back door one day, throwing it at his brother, and then ran for his life because it was his bigger brother. Oh, Adam was funny. He was very silly, great sense of humor, smiling all the time. He was just wild. When he played baseball, that was hysterical. He had such a fast pitch for such a young kid, and they called him the Atom Bomb. But when kids came up to bat against him, they were petrified because he hit a lot of the batters. But if he didn't hit them, it was great pitches.
Adam growing up, he was a shithead. Angry overall, but always just loyal and dependable when it came to friends.
So my freshman year of high school, I was a knucklehead. You know, that's when I started doing like drugs. I just hung out with all, you know, the wrong kids. My sophomore year, I kind of snapped out of it. I was looking up to my brother a lot. Started, you know, lifting weights and looking up to my brother and getting involved in football.
We were both in the football team, which I think that like really grounded him as like a kid. That was his childhood. He was all about his buddies, but they got in a lot of trouble.
My junior year, I really, you know, I got real big. I think I got up to 250 pounds, but then I got back in with the wrong crowd, running around on the weekends, and that's what got me put in jail.
So of course the high school called me immediately. I raced down there, and they were putting him into the police car, and the detective on campus, he told me, you know, he's like, don't worry, you know, you'll see him tomorrow. Well, that didn't happen.
I was just a lost kid, you know, without that father figure. I would get a lot of attention when I knocked people out. So I just kept doing it and kept taking it to the next level, the next level. Next thing I know, you know, I'm robbing people. Well,
he was with somebody else, and they just were on a night in trouble. It was an armed robbery. They got charged with armed robbery. The other guy had a gun, so since Adam was with him, you get the same charge.
Well, I had just turned 17 years old. They came into the school and they arrested me for armed robbery, aggravated assault. They took me to, you know, 4th Avenue jail, and I was terrified. There were like 50 adults jammed in one cell, and I was by myself, and I was like, what's going on? And I couldn't call my mom because she blocked the collect calls because my father is in prison, and he always tried to call, and that adds up, so she blocked that, so I couldn't get a hold of anyone.
I felt like a caged animal, like I needed to get to him. I wanted to just rip through the walls. It was bad. But he came out of it, and he learned.
And the sunlight doesn't even touch you in that jail. And I think it took me 7 months before I graduated. I got my GED from, it's called Hard Knocks High. And I got to see my mom for the first time.
So that was the one time that I actually got to be in the same room with him and physically see him.
The good part about graduating and doing good and getting your GED is you got to see your parent and eat outside food. So that was 7 months of of hell. I met Sheriff Joe Ohio, and I had to do a speech on integrity, and that was real emotional because my mom was everything to me. So that was big. That was a big moment for sure.
Then when he got out, we got him into GCC, and things just flowed from there.
And then I met Coach Jewell. Jewell he was a detention officer for my sister, and he decided to quit that and come over to coach the football. And the first day I met him, I was in the weight room, and I wasn't going all the way down on my squats. I was slacking a little bit. He said, "Put another plate on and go parallel, go lower." I got in his face, and I was like, "Who the hell do you think you are?" And he's like, "I'm your new coach." He kind of put me in check, and then ever since then, he just showed me love, and I think that's what I needed. I went on quite a few recruiting trips out to Texas and Missouri and Kansas. So I like Kansas, Pitt State the most, so I decided on that one. I didn't like the move at all at first. I didn't like Kansas. I didn't like the small town feel. I almost threw it away. Man, I think I got pepper sprayed my first week. I broke into a bar. The name kind of got around. We'd have football parties. Out of town guys, or the baseball team or the basketball team, they come to our parties. They did something I didn't like. Man, I beat up a lot of people. For sticking up for the kids that couldn't defend themselves or protect themselves, and just probably for no reason too. That was probably the first 3 months, and I was like, all right, yeah, they know who I am, and I got a reputation like this guy's crazy. That's why a lot of people say Catherine, like, you're crazy, this guy's crazy. How do you like this guy? Because she's this good old Kansas girl, she'd never been in no trouble in her life, and I don't know, I guess I caught her interest. So she wanted to save the bad boy, right? Tame the beast. I think that was her goal, and she did.
Well, he was different than anyone else really in the small town of Kansas, coming from the big city of Phoenix. And at the time he had his labret pierced, which is right here. He had gauges in his ears. He had, I'll never forget this one sweatshirt he had with just like a gun on it.
I walk into history class late. She said, she remembers what I was wearing. I think I had some Dickie shorts on. Maybe they were red Dickie shorts, and a hoodie with a big old gun on it. I had these big earrings.
And he just wore like these big Dickie shorts and tall socks, and like way different than like most of the people in small town Kansas.
And that's how it all started.
To be 100% honest with you, everything changed. Like when I know, like Catherine is a huge part of that. Catherine ain't no joke, She's like, she says something and it happens.
So it very much just started as like a casual friendship, and then blossomed from there. In like September of 2009, I believe, and is when he got kicked off the football team, and so he lost his full ride scholarship.
The head coach said, "You're a menace to society, We gotta get you out of the small town. You're causing all kinds of problems. You're beating up the baseball guys, the basketball guys." Yeah, they pulled my scholarship. I started working at Pizza Hut, and they weren't giving me enough hours, so I switched over to a dog food warehouse.
Came home smelling just awful before this All-American Heavyweights program kind of came up.
Then I get a phone call from Coach Jewell. I'm just hanging out at the house, and Coach Jewell says, "Hey, Big Shoe Stu." He said, "These guys just came into Glendale Community College. They're looking for heavyweight boxers, or just tough guys. And they're going to teach you boxing, and they want to bring back heavyweight boxing, and they want a 2012 Olympic gold medalist." He said, "They seem pretty legit, so take them serious." He said, "I told them I knew this big dummy likes getting punched in his face, and I gave him your information. You're the first person I thought of. You're the only person I gave the information, so take it seriously." He's like, "Don't f this up like you do everything else." They flew me out to Los Angeles, me and 19 other guys, so there's 20 of us, and they told us that we're gonna pick the top 5. They showed us, the first day they showed us boxing, they showed us a basic jab, a basic right hand, a hook, an uppercut, kind of a little bit of movement.
There was never like this moment where he had to tell me what was gonna happen. It was always from day one, like, this is an opportunity I have, I'm gonna check it out. If they like me, I have to go, you know, what else do I have going for me right now, working at a dog food plant? In that situation, I just really had no idea what to do. So a lot of fighting, but a lot of fierce love.
I tried to break up with Catherine. I tried to break up with her. I was like, it's not gonna work out. We're long distance. You're in college. You're in Kansas. I'm in Los Angeles. I'm gonna do this big bad boxer thing. But she fought through it. We made it work out, and I took off. Yeah, I sold everything I had for $100, and I took off to Los Angeles with a suitcase. And there I was in a $60 million Olympic heavyweight boxing program with state-of-the-art equipment. I was real happy and thankful for sure that, you know, the opportunity, and thankful that Coach Jewell thought of me and told me about it. But I was focused. I was real focused. I remember that's when I first started. That's when I found videos of Muhammad Ali on YouTube, and I watched the same video every single day. I'd wake up, and I had a kind of this morning routine. I'd wake up and I watch the same video. I'm going to show you how great I am. And I was just inspired, and I was obsessed.
But the man's in trouble. I'm gonna show you how great I am.
And I actually started flying out Catherine probably twice a month. She'd come out for the weekend since I didn't have any bills.
Everything that kid's done all his life and all that stuff, good or bad, he is just like supposed to be a fighter, you know? And then Catherine followed him out to California, and they got a place, and then that's like, that just, Adam's life changed.
Dominic went to the trials. He lost. You know, they didn't get Olympian for 2012, so they just ended the program. We moved in a little apartment, in a little beach city. I'm like, it's time for me to find a job. This is hard because I have 2 felonies on record. I couldn't find anything. I was putting applications everywhere. Thankfully, my Uncle Craig was able to get me a job with Climate Tech. Money was a little better. Our situation was better, so we moved to Orange County. And then that's when I was checking out gyms, and that's when I met my coach, Jerry Marino. And Jerry, he helped me out big time. He taught me the sweet science of boxing. Like, he really taught me a lot. And he just had me start fighting as much as I could. I think 5 in the world in amateurs, and I was the #1 heavyweight in California. I won the Desert Showdown tournament, the Blue and Gold tournament. I won a lot of local tournaments in California, and California is like, that's the boxing, you know, it's well known for boxing. There's a lot of good, you know, competition there. That went good, and I felt I was ready to turn pro in 2016, so that's what I did.
If you're gonna do it, you know, it's, you need 100%, you need to do it, because, you know, we're not getting any younger.
It was April, and I was ready to turn pro. Had my pro debut in Orange County at the Orange County Fairgrounds, and I won. I fought a guy that had 3 fights, big guy, 6'4", 250 pounds, and I beat him, bloodied his face up good, and got the victory, and that's where it all started. It was a great feeling.
We always say that our wedding day was like the best day of our lives. It was so fun. Each got a different superhero t-shirt, and then at the end of the night, the guys were just in their t-shirts. After a night of drinking and partying, the ties came off, the button-up shirts came off, and it was just slacks and Vans and t-shirts. Almost hear the laugh in the picture just by looking at the picture. Oh, this one. It's my favorite. Just so happy. Such a good day.
That was a big level up, getting married and going on a honeymoon with her, like going out of the country and then going on an actual vacation. That was huge.
We did like luau's. We danced. I think we had a dance. Like, we had a dance off the first time, and we just destroyed everyone. They're like, "Big man to shake the booty." And I was like, "Hell yeah!"
We had our first, our daughter Mia, in 2016. Yeah, I had 3 fights in California. We had little baby Mia, and we had some issues with the landlord. Let's just go to either Kansas or Arizona, where we have some support now that we have a baby and a family. We want to be around family, so I said boxing would be better in Arizona, so we moved out here. We found our house. We had our second kid by then, 2018. Yeah, and it's been going good ever since.
It's amazing for a mom to see their child and their like growth of life, you know, through the struggles and the low times and the high times, and then to see how interested he is. He's very interested in every minute of what they do and very patient with them, and that just makes any mom happy.
He, with the girls, him and I are so different. It's ridiculous I mean, I guess that's why it works, you know, him and I as a couple, but I'm more like by the book and like very regimented and routine, and he's more like all bets off, let's have fun, let's be crazy, let's be wild. So and I honestly feel like kids need that, and so to see him with our kids is pretty amazing. He's such a fun dad, and you know, the kids hear his truck outside and they come running to the door. They're always so excited to see him.
My Arizona debut, my first fight at a private event at the Phoenician, the Camelback Resort, and I knock a big guy, a big tough guy out in the first round, and then I fight again 3 weeks later, and I knock out a big football guy from Vegas out in the second round. I'm undefeated, and so it's going good. The word's kind of spreading like, oh, there's the new heavyweight in town. I get a few more fights, you know, and next thing you know, I'm 8-0. I'm 8-0, and then COVID hits. And I'm like, crap. Everything's shut down. We're not really training. That's when I got the call to fight, you know, at the MGM Grand in Vegas on ESPN. I get a call and he said, "Hey, can you fight in a week?" I was like, "Who?" He said, "This guy, he's from Utah." And I was like, "Well, people can't box in Utah." And he said, "He's 5'7", 250 pounds. And I was like, "Geez, he's a short little fat boy, you know?" I was like, that's easy. I was like, I haven't been training because it's COVID. The gyms are shut down. I tried to spar and train as much as I could. Yeah, I get to Vegas, and then the guy is 6'3", 290 pounds, and then he's a southpaw. So they gave me false information about that. I wasn't really in shape. I wasn't prepared for that. And yeah, that was my first loss. It was a close decision, you know, but I learned from it, and you just can't jump on everything just because it sounds good. So after that fight, that was my first loss. I was 8-1 now, and I was bummed. I had a chip on my shoulder. I was mad. I sat down with Catherine, my wife, and we talked about it. And I said, something's got to give. You know, I'm a husband, a father. You know, I work full time, and I'm a professional boxer. I said, the only thing I can think of is work's got to go. And so here we are again, me making no damn money, which it's a big risk. But I was like, we have to risk it while I'm still in my prime, while I still feel good, while I'm able to do this. I can always go back to the work. Let me try this for a while. So I think we said something like 6 months of like trying it out. I'm easy going, but with this, I'm like, this is what it's gonna be. You know, I kind of stood my ground. I was like, this is what it's gonna be. Quit my job last November. Time to take it seriously. And I sat down with the coaches and said, I'm going full time. So let's step it up.
Kind of on this like 6-month time frame where we're like, okay, let's see where our bank account is, and if we're still able to pay the bills. And here we are, you know, a year later, and he's doing really well. Although the nerves are always high right before a fight, I am confident in his abilities and trust that he's gonna do what he needs to do when he gets in that ring. As far as the first 4 weeks are pretty easy. Like, I know what he needs to do. He needs to go to the gym at this time on this day. I'd say around like 2 weeks out is when things start getting a little dicey, and I don't really know what to expect. You know, if he needs to be here or needs to pivot, I need to be able to like, okay, great, support you, go do that. I'll get the kids, I'll drop everything so that you can do what you need to do, so that you're in the right state of mind for this fight. That can be a little taxing on me. Boxing is a mind game as well. He's kind of caught between being a family man, but also being this warrior savage that's gonna get in the ring and knock someone out. And he was telling me this morning, he's like, I can see it in you when it's starting to wear on you. He's like, about 2 days before the fight, you start to, show that this is like, okay, I'm ready for this to be over. I'm ready to get back to like normal life. And people always say like, are you excited for the fight? And I say, as much as I'm excited for the fight, I'm excited for the after the fight, like the day after, because then we can breathe, we can chill, we can be a family again. It's cool to have a husband who's a boxer, a professional boxer, and it can be hard at times.
I have time now, I have more time, more energy. I can train in the mornings. It's going good. From when I quit my job 1 year ago, I've had 3 fights, 3-0, won all 3 of them. I think I was ranked 104th in the country, and now I checked last night, I'll be 17th in the country. This old war horse walks in, and he's a little strange. We weigh in and we go do face-offs, and we stare at each other, and he has a smug look on his face. I'm like, yeah, that's how it should go. And they said, okay, face towards us. So I face towards them, and he's still staring at me. And I'm just like, kind of pointing at him like, look at this guy. Okay, he's a tough guy. And nothing, we face towards the camera, get the picture. And he said, I'm gonna knock your ass out. And then after I knock you out, I'm gonna knock him out. And I was just like, this guy. He tried to get loud and kind of wild, and he got all big-eyed and started walking towards me. I said, you're not scaring nobody. You're not scaring nobody with that. So, because I wasn't doing anything, he was being a tough guy. And I thought to myself, I love it. I've been waiting for this moment. Like, I've been waiting for this to happen. Like, because I generally like people. So to have a little chip on my shoulder and have a little hate going in there, I was like, well, I was gonna whoop your ass already, but now I think I'll do it a little faster and just a little more hate on the punches. So I was excited about that. A lot of people, he had a lot of scars and kind of crazy look, and he's a decent sized guy, and a lot of people were scared, like that guy looks crazy, he looks scary. And my wife, she was nervous. Even my coach is like, don't mind the look, but I was eating it up.
So of course there were nerves. And then when I saw the guy, he kind of looked like a thug. He had some stab marks on him. He had some bullet wounds in his shoulders. That kind of scared me too, because it's like you wonder, like, that guy's seen some tough, that guy's been around the block. He can probably take a hit.
For that kind of thug, the kind of look that he was going for, and I'll destroy those people. I loved it. Even as we walked into the ring, he came out and he's stomping, and he has this look on his face, and I'm like, I'm gonna smoke this guy, and I'm gonna love every second of it. I'm gonna retire the old war horse. That was like my goal, like retire this guy. I went out there, I let my hands go, didn't hesitate, and got the job done. I want to hit this guy with the jab that feels like 4 right hands. So I just went out there, stepped into it, boom, and it snapped the head back. And I just saw everything. I was so focused and zipped in, got the job done. It was a good night.
You know how taxing it can be on me as the spouse and the support person as fights. So my hope is that sometime in the near future he'll be making enough money where I'm able to quit my full-time job and take care of the kids and travel with him as he starts traveling for fights. That would be nice. We'll see what happens. That's the plan. Eye on the prize.
Keep taking it to the next level. Keep growing. Keep learning, and keep winning. Just win, fight for my family. I want to set my family up, set my wife up, help my mom out.
I tell people a lot when they say, I don't know how you do it. And I say, I hope one day I'm sitting on a yacht with like a cocktail in my hand with not a care in the world. Like, I'm putting in work, Adam's putting in work, like our family is making sacrifices. We hope that one day our family will reap the benefit of all this hard work.
Set my kids up. That's the goal. Just be the heavyweight champion of the world. That's what I want to do, is be the heavyweight champion of the world. I'm not quite there yet. I'm just going to keep climbing up, getting the experience, just keep jumping up in rounds. You know, this next one will be 8-rounder. I'll fight a couple 8-rounders. Then I'll fight a couple 10-rounders, and then I'll be ready to fight for the world title.
Adam, yeah, he's just a different breed.
He is a true athlete.
He tries to make a difference and it matters to him, and that matters in everything.
And I mean, now that he's older and adult and all that stuff, now it's just like a fiery passion, which is dangerous.
Probably the way he boxes, the way he parents, the way he husbands.
I am confident in his abilities and trust that he's gonna do what he needs to do when he gets in that ring.
Yeah, it's a beautiful life, man. I'm so thankful and happy how my life has turned out, and I'm proud. I'm proud of myself, and I'm proud of where life is at, and it's a beautiful thing, man.
You get a kid off the streets, and either he's going to stink and to fall back down into even more violent circumstances, which would probably end up with him being in prison or dead, or somehow he uses a violent sport to extricate himself from this violent life, and that's the most beautiful of boxing stories. And in that case, Adam Stewart's is as beautiful as any.